So taking one look at this post and then looking at the comment section underneath it gives you kind of a good perspective on just the community reaction to the information that came out late yesterday about the One Piece anime. So let's go up to the top and let's read this post before I go any further. So Vincent announced that he's taking a break from the One Piece anime after expressing frustration over his action storyboard being heavily modified, almost to the point of erasure. He'll return for the Luffy vs. Kizaru fight, and in the meantime, he'll be working on other shows. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, who is Vincent? So let's lay the groundwork out first, and let's go into that before I go any further. So Vincent is a pretty well-known animator that has definitely blown up as of late in the last few years, but one thing in recent memory that has definitely garnered a lot of attention was this scene in JJK Season 2 with Maharaga versus Sukuna. And I think that one look at this sequence really just says enough. Like, this scene with Sukuna is extremely iconic. I think everybody at this point in time has just seen how iconic this scene with Sukuna is, with the domain expansion to the hand movement and everything. Like, it is super clean. And he's even went on to make like a fan animation of My Hero Academia in the past and all sorts of stuff. I've covered and talked about this in videos months ago. But the point of the matter is that Vincent is a very well-known animator in the industry that has definitely worked on a lot of One Piece episodes, notably for some of the best-looking moments of the One Piece anime. Now, if you disagree, that's completely fine. But the point is that his artistic, style, what he does with certain sequences, it stands out. It is something that really just catches your eye and attention. Like, look at the way, Rob Lucci is drawn here. It attracts your eyes to the screen, and you're like, holy crap, this looks absolutely incredible. And then you look at it in motion, and it's a whole new level of amazing. And so, when you hear that this animator that is responsible for a lot of these godlike scenes is stepping away briefly from Toei Animation thanks to frustration, there clearly is some issues going on behind the scenes. And let's talk about that. So, as an animator, I'm assuming Vincent has had to deal with erasure of his works in the past. For instance, someone that probably has to do countless storyboards and different scenes and cuts and all that. He has probably had many times where he is, given over some of his work and, almost all of it's basically gone. And this is probably not the first time this has ever happened to him, but obviously, it's very clear that his work is appreciated by the One Piece community. There is a lot of love for him as an individual, but also as an animator. And it's clear that when you hear him saying that his work was pretty much erased, and it wasn't even what it used to be, like, it's just not the actual what he was trying to present on the action storyboard, you can understand a little bit of frustration. Imagine, sitting down as, an artist, animator, and I know there's artists that watch my content. Imagine you're an artist sitting down, and you make, art. You make an animation sequence. I know this has to take not just, a few hours, but it could take weeks, potentially, maybe even months. It really just depends on how much detail and work you put into this. And imagine if you put, weeks of effort into a sequence just to pretty much have it removed. It's gone, and it's not really even recognizable as your work anymore. It would feel a little bit upsetting, and you would feel probably a little bit frustrated if you were in Vincent's shoes. Now, he does state that he will return to Toei Animation to work on the One Piece anime for the, Luffy versus Kizaru fight. But it doesn't change the fact that he clearly has some frustration and anger towards what has happened to him, and I feel like this is not a good sign. It's not, because it shows friction in the work environment. It shows that whoever was the one in charge, either the director or someone even higher up than the director himself, maybe someone, a big head honcho at Toei, or whoever decided to do what they did to Vincent's work, they clearly can't read the atmosphere in the room on just how important he is as an animator. And from what I have seen collectively from the One Piece community in the last 24 or so hours, people have said that the people part of the staff that works at Toei, not the head honchos, but the staff, they have directly, asked for Vincent to work on things, or they have pushed for him to be more involved, etc., because he's just so talented. And so when you factor all this in, it's clear there is a lot of love and support within Toei for him, but there is probably some head honcho, maybe someone that's an old wig, someone that is old-fashioned, that doesn't like foreign talent, potentially working in, you know, Toei as an animator, since they theoretically are not, you know, the age-old regular type of animators they're used to. There's definitely people like that. I believe there was a story that came out a while ago, actually, about an animator in Toei. I think his name was Henry. I believe there was an animator that came out and said that they basically left or something. I don't know the full story, so don't quote me on this one. But I believe, like, he left because there was some friction with some form of higher-up that didn't like the fact that he was pretty much like a foreigner. Like, he wasn't fitting into the normal mold of what, you know, these head honchos would normally want. And so he left, and he was a very well-known and recognized animator. Now, I don't know the exact details and all that, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. I just know he apparently left or something. And when I think about that situation, and then I look at this situation, I wonder if that same issue that happened in the past is reappearing, but this time with Vincent, since he has definitely made quite a name for himself over the years. I mean, like I said, you take one look at his work, and it really just speaks for itself. He is extremely talented as an individual. I mean, these sequences here is probably some of the most recognizable scenes just from JJK alone, with how godly it looks, at least in recent memory. So yeah, I hate to see such a well-known animator actually that frustrated to the point to where they want to kind of take a break and step back for a bit. Now, once again, this is, you know, a normal human reaction. I think Vincent has a right to be frustrated, and obviously there could be more to this story as well, which I do want to elaborate on before I go any further. You know, obviously, at the end of the day, you know, Vincent is a part of a team. He is a part of a bunch of people that, you know, sit down and they work together to make anime. And obviously, when you have maybe 50, 200, maybe even 1,000, I don't know exactly how many people are technically working on one individual episode, but it's definitely a lot. And when you have a lot of people in the kitchen cooking, you know, sometimes the dish, you know, some people's dish will be removed, you know, because they are fitting room for another dish. And in this case, with how many cooks are potentially in the kitchen, it makes sense that sometimes your work as an animator will not be expressed like you want. And sometimes it's because of teamwork that you have to sacrifice sometimes to be able to get the work out. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case with Vincent. I'm just saying that, you know, no, I'm not saying that this is the case with Vincent, because it's clear there's a lot of people at Toei that love him, but I do think that, you know, there is a lot more to the story that we probably are unaware of, but I do think that deep down there's probably some form of head honcho higher-up that might be kind of old-fashioned and doesn't want to make way for the times for freelancers and new blood, so to speak, in the anime industry to work. That's my assumption. Once again, I have no evidence for this, but that's my assumption. Anyways, though, I wanted to talk about this because it's like, I've been talking positively about One Piece, and it's just like, it's sad after all the praises I've been giving the One Piece anime and what's been going on with, like, the recent stuff, you know, we have this happen with Vincent, and I'm glad he's not, like, permanently stepping away. I'm glad, but it is still worrisome that this is happening. So, it's kind of like a red flag, or like a canary in a mine situation, to where it's like, yeah, this isn't like into the series type bad, but it's like, it's basically like a warning sign. It's a red flag, a warning light that's saying, turn back around before it gets any worse. That is what this situation basically is. So, I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.